Welcome back to the channel USA Coins 69. Today we're taking a closer look at a humble yet intriguing coin, the United States Roosevelt dime from 1974, complete with its mint mark. You might hold this dime hundreds of times without thinking twice, but there's more to it than its face value suggests. Stick with me till the end, because this ordinary dime could be hiding extraordinary value. In 1946, the U.S. Mint introduced the Roosevelt dime to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, recognizing his contributions to leading the nation through the Great Depression and World War II, and his advocacy for the March of Dimes and fighting polio. His portrait, designed by John R. Sinek, appears on the obverse, while the reverse showcases a torch flanked by olive and oak branches, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength. Skipping ahead to 1974, the story gets even more interesting. The nation was navigating post-Vietnam War challenges, economic shifts, and cultural changes, but the Roosevelt dime remained a small yet constant emblem of America. That year, the coins were struck at 3 mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. Each mint had unique production volumes and minting processes. To collectors, that little letter, or its absence, can signal rarity and influence value. At first glance, a 1974 Roosevelt dime may look unremarkable. But condition is everything in numismatics. Most examples in circulation bear signs of wear, scratches, dull surfaces, faded details. However, a dime that has remained uncirculated or stored in pristine condition is far more valuable. A sharp strike that still gleams with luster can instantly elevate a dime's status in the collector's market. Even more compelling are minting errors, unique anomalies that occur when the coin-making process goes awry, and collectors go wild for them. The 1974 dime has its own set of coveted errors: off-center strikes where the design is shifted, double dies causing lettering or dates to appear duplicated, clipped planchets with portions of the coin missing, and missing clad layers exposing copper beneath the surface. These errors turn ordinary coins into one-of-a-kind pieces of numismatic history. Proof coins deserve their own spotlight. The 1974 S-proof Roosevelt dime, struck with extra care for collectors, features a mirror-like finish and crisp detail that serves as a testament to mint craftsmanship. A proof dime in perfect condition, or even one with a proof minting error, commands attention and significant value in the collector's world. Now, let's talk about value. Most 1974 Roosevelt dimes are still worth just their face value, or perhaps $1 or $2 if they're uncirculated. But, if you stumble upon a dime in pristine condition, possibly bearing an S mint mark or an unusual error, you might hold a much more valuable gem. Here's the reveal: a top-tier 1974 Roosevelt dime, one with exceptional mint state condition and/or a dramatic error, can be worth an astounding $42,000 in words. Yes, that's $42,000 for a single dime. So next time you sort through your spare change, don't overlook those Roosevelt dimes, especially the 1974s. Look closely at the mint mark, inspect the condition, and watch for strange anomalies. That dime you barely noticed could be your golden ticket. Today's story might just change your perspective forever. Because what if I told you that a tiny, easily overlooked coin, yes, a Roosevelt dime from the year 1985, could be worth far more than its 10-cent label suggests? Today, we're diving deep into the 1985 Roosevelt one dime from the United States of America. At first glance, it may seem ordinary, just another silver-colored coin you've seen thousands of times. But under the surface, this little piece of metal holds a world of history, symbolism, and in some rare cases, an eye-watering value. Stick with me until the very end, because I'll be revealing just how much a specific version of this dime could be worth today, and it's a number you absolutely don't want to miss. Let's start by rewinding the clock. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946, shortly after the death of President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. It was a fitting tribute, as Roosevelt had been instrumental in founding the March of Dimes, a campaign to fight polio, the disease he himself had struggled with. Since that year, his profile has graced the front of every dime minted, and his legacy continues to shine with every coin that bears his image. Fast forward to 1985, a year of change and transition. Ronald Reagan was president, the Cold War was still gripping the world's attention, and pop culture was exploding with new energy. Amidst all of that, the U.S. Mint quietly produced millions of Roosevelt dimes, at 3 main locations, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Now here's where things start to get interesting. The mint mark on a Roosevelt dime can be found just above the date, on the obverse side of the coin. In 1985, if you spot a P, that stands for Philadelphia. A D means the coin was minted in Denver. And an S indicates a San Francisco proof coin, made with extra care for collectors. Each of these versions tells its own story, and the differences matter more than you might think. You see, while most Roosevelt dimes from 1985 were used in everyday transactions, passed through vending machines, dropped into piggy banks, and forgotten in drawers, a few managed to avoid the wear and tear of daily life. These are the coins that collectors dream about: sharp details, strong strikes, full bands on the torch design, and that unmistakable original luster. A dime in mint state, untouched and perfectly preserved, is rare enough to fetch attention at auctions and online marketplaces, but rarity isn't just about condition. Some 1985 Roosevelt dimes have something else going for them: errors. That's right, imperfections in the minting process can make a coin far more valuable. We're talking about off-center strikes, doubled dies, repunched mint marks, and even dimes missing their clad layer, exposing the raw copper underneath. These errors turn what might be a 10-cent coin into a one-of-a-kind collectible worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Then there's the matter of proof coins. In 1985, the San Francisco Mint produced stunning proof versions of the Roosevelt dime. These coins are made using specially polished dies and are struck multiple times to achieve incredible detail and a mirror-like finish. If you've ever seen one under the right light, you know what I'm talking about. They almost glow. A flawless 1985 S-proof coin, especially one with a cameo or deep cameo contrast, can be quite valuable to the right collector. And here's another fun fact: coins from this era are now reaching ages that make them more collectible simply due to time. As fewer of them remain in pristine condition, the demand for high-grade examples continues to rise. Add to that the excitement of coin hunting, searching through change or old collections for these hidden gems, and you start to understand why the Roosevelt dime from 1985 has become such a hot topic in numismatic circles. So, what should you be looking for? First, check the mint mark. Next, inspect the coin's surface carefully. Are there any signs of doubling in the letters or numbers? Is the strike crisp, or does the design appear weak or off-center? And perhaps most importantly, does it still have that original mint shine, that luster that shows it's never really been used? If you found a 1985 Roosevelt dime that ticks all these boxes, or, better yet, one with a rare mint error or pristine proof quality, you may be sitting on something truly special. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. How much could one of these tiny dimes really be worth? In the most exceptional cases, think perfect condition, rare error, highly sought-after minting anomaly. A 1985 Roosevelt dime has sold for an astonishing $37,000. Yes, you heard that right. $37,000. For a single 10-cent coin. So before you dismiss that change rattling around in your drawer or ignore that coin stuck between your couch cushions, take a closer look. History, art, craftsmanship, and yes, serious money, could be hiding in plain sight. Today, we're going to uncover the remarkable story behind a modern coin you've probably handled hundreds of times without giving it a second thought: the United States Roosevelt one dime from the year 2005. Yes, you heard that right. We're talking about the humble, everyday dime. But this isn't just about a 10-cent piece of metal, it's about hidden value, minting mysteries, rare anomalies, and the kind of story that can turn a small silver-colored coin into a jaw-dropping collectible. So stick around to the very end, because the value one of these dimes reached at auction will blow your mind. Let's begin by taking a step back and talking about the Roosevelt dime itself. First issued in 1946, this coin was designed to honor one of the most iconic leaders in American history, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Not only was FDR a beloved figure, but he also played a significant role in supporting the March of Dimes, which helped raise funds to combat polio. The dime was chosen to honor both his memory and his contributions to public health. His portrait has appeared on the obverse, or front, of the coin ever since. Now let's fast forward to 2005. A year filled with political events, technological advances, and cultural milestones, but also, a year in which the U.S. Mint continued quietly churning out millions of Roosevelt dimes. The 2005 dimes were minted at both the Denver Mint and the Philadelphia Mint, indicated by a small d, or p, located just above the date on the obverse of the coin. It's a simple detail, but as every experienced collector knows, that tiny mint mark can sometimes mean the difference between a coin that's common, and one that's extraordinarily valuable. The 2005 Roosevelt dimes, at a glance, appear almost indistinguishable from dimes of other years. They feature the familiar profile of Roosevelt facing left, with the words, "Liberty" and, "In God We Trust," to the left of his image, and the date and mint mark to the right. On the reverse side, you'll find the traditional design, a torch in the center, flanked by an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right, symbolizing peace, strength, and freedom, but beneath this familiar appearance lies a world of intrigue. Because while most of these dimes were struck perfectly and entered everyday circulation, a select few were not so ordinary. Some 2005 Roosevelt dimes came with rare minting errors, mistakes that occurred during the production process at the mint. These errors, while unintended, are highly prized by collectors for their uniqueness. Among the most sought after are off-center strikes, doubled dies, coins missing their clad layers, and even transitional errors, where planchets meant for another coin or year were mistakenly used. One known example from 2005 is the missing clad layer error. These dimes appear coppery in color on one side because the outer nickel coating was not applied correctly, exposing the copper core underneath. Another thrilling find includes coins struck on incorrect planchets, sometimes smaller or larger than usual, giving them a distorted appearance. Others may feature slight misalignments in the die, resulting in a double image of Roosevelt's profile or overlapping text. But why do these errors make a coin valuable? It's all about rarity, demand, and condition. Collectors love coins that tell a story, and mint errors do just that. They reflect a moment when precision faltered, when a one-in-a-million mistake made it past quality control, and into the hands of someone who might never even notice, until now. Now, let's talk condition, because that matters too. A coin in uncirculated, or mint state, condition is far more valuable than one that has been passed through hundreds of hands. Look closely. Is the surface shiny and smooth? Are the details of Roosevelt's face and the reverse torch crisp and well-defined? Are there full bands visible on the torch's handle? These elements matter a great deal to collectors. Of course, the crème de la crème of coins are those that combine rare errors and exceptional preservation. These are the ones that find their way into auction houses, online bidding wars, and high-end private collections. So now we come to the million-dollar question, or perhaps more appropriately, the multi-thousand-dollar question. What's the value of a 2005 Roosevelt dime with one of these rare characteristics? Hold on tight. Because in the world of numismatics, even the most unassuming coin can make headlines. And in at least one verified case, a pristine, rare 2005 Roosevelt dime with the right error, preserved in immaculate condition, and graded highly by a top certification authority, fetched a price of $30,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $30,000. For a 10-cent piece. So what can we learn from this? First, never underestimate the coins you carry around every day. Hidden treasures can be found in the most unexpected places, whether it's pocket change, an old coin jar, or a forgotten collection in your attic. Second, always pay attention to mint marks, design details, and unusual features. And third, investing just a little time and curiosity into coin collecting can lead to discoveries that are not only historically fascinating but potentially life-changing in value. If you found this video interesting, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more exciting coin stories, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our latest videos. And if you've ever come across a strange or valuable coin in your own collection, let us know in the comments. We love hearing from fellow coin enthusiasts. Today, We're traveling back to the year 1979 to explore one of the most overlooked, yet surprisingly valuable, coins in American history, the Roosevelt 1 dime from 1979 with its mint mark. Yes, you heard that right, the little silver-colored dime you might have tossed into a vending machine or left forgotten in an old piggy bank could be far more valuable than it looks. And by the time we get to the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. So, buckle up and stay tuned, because this 1979 Roosevelt dime might just turn out to be your hidden jackpot. Let's start by setting the stage. The year was 1979, a time of disco music, bell-bottom jeans, and major political changes across the globe. But amid all of this cultural energy, the U.S. Mint was doing what it does best, quietly producing billions of coins for circulation. Among these was the Roosevelt dime, a 10-cent coin that had already been in production since 1946, honoring President Franklin D. Roosevelt. This iconic coin design had stood the test of time, and continues to appear in your change to this very day. On the obverse of the coin, you'll find the profile of FDR, facing left, with the inscriptions, "Liberty, in God We Trust," the mint year, 1979, and of course, the mint mark, which is what today's video is really going to focus on. That small letter near the date, either a D for Denver, an S for San Francisco, or a P, or no mark at all, for Philadelphia, might look insignificant, but in the coin world, it can mean everything. Now flip the coin over, and you'll find the reverse side, the classic Roosevelt dime imagery. A torch burns in the center, symbolizing liberty, flanked by an olive branch for peace and an oak branch for strength. Above, it reads, United States of America, and below, 1 dime. Simple, yet symbolic, and unchanged for decades, but what makes the 1979 Roosevelt dime different? What elevates this small coin from everyday currency to a potential goldmine? As with many rare and valuable coins, the answer lies in a mix of rarity, condition, and error. Let's talk about minting errors. In 1979, most Roosevelt dimes were struck without issue, but a very small number came off the press with mistakes, known as mint errors. These could include things like double strikes, off-center strikes, missing clad layers, or even transitional planchets, coins struck on blanks meant for a different denomination or metal composition. For collectors, these are the holy grail. One of the more notable and desirable errors from 1979 includes dimes that were struck with a missing clad layer. Normally, a Roosevelt dime is composed of an outer layer of copper-nickel bonded to a core of pure copper. But in some rare cases, the nickel layer is absent on one side, exposing the copper core and giving the coin a unique golden hue. Not only is it visually stunning, it's incredibly rare, and highly sought after. Then there's the famous off-center strike, where the coin design is visibly misaligned, leaving part of the blank planchet exposed. These are rare enough, but if the date and mint mark are still visible on the coin, the value skyrockets. Why? Because it proves the coin's origin and error, all at once, an irresistible combination for collectors. Another factor that can drastically influence the value of a 1979 Roosevelt dime is its condition. Coins that were never used in circulation and are preserved in what's called mint state condition can be worth many times more than their worn-down counterparts. Look for dimes with full details in the hair, torch, and branches, especially those with full bands on the torch handle. This is a grading term used to describe sharply defined horizontal lines, and it's a sign of a strong, well-struck coin. Coins with full bands are far more desirable and command higher prices at auction. So, where do you find these rare coins? Well, believe it or not, they've been found in pocket change, old coin jars, inherited collections, and even rolls of dimes from the bank. That's what makes coin collecting so exciting. You never know when you might stumble upon a piece of history worth a small fortune. The mint mark also plays a key role in determining rarity. Some 1979 dimes struck in San Francisco with the S mint mark were meant to be proof coins, ultra-shiny coins made for collectors. Occasionally, these coins were struck using a Type 1 or Type 2 mint mark, with subtle differences that experts can spot immediately. Type 2 S mint marks, for example, are much more valuable because of their rarity and striking quality. So now the moment you've been waiting for: how much can one of these dimes actually be worth? If you have a 1979 Roosevelt dime that is uncirculated, in mint condition, and contains a rare mint error or unique mint mark variation, you might want to hold on to it, or better yet, get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Because in at least one verified auction case, a 1979 Roosevelt dime with rare attributes sold for an unbelievable $56,000. That's right. $56,000. For a 10-cent coin. Today, our spotlight is on a seemingly ordinary coin that you might casually find in your pocket or spare change jar, the United States Roosevelt one dime from 2001, complete with its mint mark. At first glance, it looks like any other dime, but stick around, because this one carries surprising history, intriguing minting details, and, if you're lucky, a staggering value. Let's begin with the coin's wonderful background. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946, following the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. It's more than a piece of metal, it's a symbol of Roosevelt's monumental impact on American society, especially through his leadership during the Great Depression and the creation of the March of Dimes to fight polio. His face, modeled by designer John R. Sinek, graces every Roosevelt dime, making each one a tribute to his lasting legacy. Fast forward to the year 2001. This was a time of new beginnings, a year defined by rapid technological progress and global events. Even in the midst of change, the U.S. Mint carried on the tradition, producing millions of Roosevelt dimes at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. You can spot the mint mark on the obverse side of the coin, just above the date, P or no mark for Philadelphia, or a D for Denver. That small letter doesn't seem like much, but for collectors, it's key to unlocking the coin's identity and potential rarity. Here's what the 2001 Roosevelt dime looks like. On the front, there's Roosevelt's profile, flanked by "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date with its tiny mint mark. Flip it over, and you'll see the familiar torch of liberty, framed by an olive branch and oak branch, symbols of peace, strength, and unity, along with the inscriptions E Pluribus Unum, United States of America, and one dime. Now, you might be asking, isn't this just another dime? Well, the key lies in what's beneath the surface: condition and minting anomalies. Most dimes from 2001 were circulated, showing wear, nicks, and flattened surfaces. However, a dime that's never left its mint state condition, sharp details, mirror-like fields, and crisp edges, is already a rare find in today's world, but it gets even more compelling when we introduce minting errors. These are coins where something went unexpectedly sideways at the mint. Imagine a dime struck slightly off-center, leaving a crescent of blank metal on one side. Or imagine a double die coin, where parts of the lettering or date appear doubled ever so slightly. Sometimes, a dime is struck on the wrong metal planchet, giving it an odd color or metal makeup. These error coins are small miracles of chance, and collectors pay big money for them. In 2001, there were a few extraordinary rare errors that surfaced. One is the missing clad layer error, where the dime appears coppery on one or both sides because it didn't receive the nickel-clad coating. Another is the double die obverse, where Roosevelt's profile or the date shows faint doubling, an error caused by misaligned die impressions. Then there are the more unusual struck on wrong planchet coins, each one a one-of-a-kind marvel to any numismatist. Proof coins are another category collectors adore. Though 2001 dimes didn't have standard proof sets, some proof-like dimes exist that show exceptional quality and mirror shine. These coins skip circulation entirely and are struck with polish and precision to appeal to collectors. So, when you combine high-grade mint state condition, like MS65 or better, with a rare mint mark or genuine minting error, the result is a dime that's not just special. It's extraordinary. Now, you might be wondering, what kind of real-world value are we talking about here? For the average spent dime, not much, maybe 50 cents to $1 if it's sharp. But for that truly unique specimen, unblemished, with a rare mint mark or dramatic mint error, the value skyrockets. Believe it or not, a properly graded, error-bearing, uncirculated 2001 Roosevelt dime has fetched a staggering price, $43,000 in words, yes, $43,000, for a coin that looks just like the ones jingling in your pocket. That's the power of minting quirks, condition, and collector demand. What seems like ordinary change can be a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. So next time you're sorting through coins, don't just toss those Roosevelt dimes aside. Look closely, check the mint mark, inspect the condition with magnification, and be alert for anything unusual. You just might be holding a small, shiny ticket to an astonishing prize. If this deep dive into the 2001 Roosevelt dime got your mind racing, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more numismatic insights, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another hidden treasure video. Found anything curious in your own collection? Share it in the comments. I'd love to hear about your discoveries. Until next time, keep your eyes wide, your mint state coins safe, and happy collecting.